Ryan Clark. Let me preface everything I'm about to say about Ryan Clark. Let me give you some backstory, because I know a lot of people think that he's a blood and I'm a Crip. They really want us to bang on each other. The origin story, I was at Fox, Ryan Clark at ESPN at the time. Ryan Clark did not like the fact that I was talking about Sha'Carri Richardson. And this is, I think, the Sha'Carri Richardson time when she got caught with the marijuana, or she got the positive drug test, and then she said it was about her mom, etc. So that's our origin story. Ryan Clark decides to tweet something at me, and then he, corralled the posse, which includes Quincy Avery, who is a trainer. He trains guys, throwing motions. I think he got Deshaun Watson, some other guys. So respect for him. I didn't know who he was at the time. Obviously, he's not on my fave list now. He takes a lot of shots at me. All good. I see them all. I'm here for you, big dog. Just make sure you go give me some Gatorade. Let me stop. Go get some Gatorade, damn it. Tell me how my elbow look when I'm throwing the ball, damn it. Go give me a towel or something. No, let me stop. I got these jokes. So that's it. That's how it started. So you know me, I'm going to shoot back. I'm like, dog, you can't be defending her based on the merits. It must be just because she went to LSU. Of course it was. And she's black. Of course it was. And I was like, all right, well, that's your lane. This is my lane, dog. I'm just going to tell the truth. If somebody went to Columbia, I still would call them out if it was necessary. And if somebody black, I got to call them out that it's necessary. You calling me out and I'm black. So weird. Oh, why are you looking at, won't you look out for the sister? I was like, won't you look out for the brother? Anyway, Manuel Acho got in the middle of it. It was what it was. That continued to snowball all the way through. I must say, though, I am a big fan of Ryan Clark, and I've said that thousands of times. I'm sure it gets drowned out by the few times I got to go at him when I used to notice he would race bait. And that's just what it is. So I'm not going to run from that. I just saw Ryan Clark maybe 2 months ago. Spoke to him. He didn't want to speak back. All right. Fred Taylor's my former teammate and my dog. I talked to him right next to him. Shannon Crowder, I like him. He knows that. We talked right next to him. Ryan didn't want to speak. That's it. There's no more to it. There's no more tension. I look forward to, I told you guys, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf in terms of how I look at these things, because there's so much misinformation out there when it comes to like Ryan Clark and I ain't got no problem with Ryan Clark. You ever been in a situation somebody don't like you? Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean you got to hate them. That's all that is. Now, since all of that is known, I know y'all going to forget it and still think I don't like the dude. It is what it is. We're going to break this thing on down to the very last compound, because yesterday, mid-show, they fired Ryan Clark. Yeah, Ryan Clark was actually doing NFL Live, Emmy Award-winning NFL Live, the same one I used to do, and we never won an Emmy, so shout out to Ryan Clark and the crew for doing that. And then they decide that enough is enough. Now, the reason they said they did that, let's let Acho go first, because I think Acho got an exhaustive one. The reason they said they did that is because they wanted to beat the breaking news. They wanted to beat the leaks. I understand that, and I don't understand that. That sounds good, but that doesn't land. It sounds good because if you want to beat the breaks and breaking news, you want to beat the leaks, do it before the show. Do it that morning. You know when you already said, all right, he's getting fired. Let's protect this. Let's not make sure that no one knows it's the Athletic. Make sure this doesn't get out to the New York Times, all that. You know when you did that. Whenever that was, that's when you either A, approach him, or B, you jeopardize what will end up happening. Breaking news, leaks, and he in on the nose. So let's get into it. Let's see what Acho got to say about it. And you know I got tons. When I say tons of things to talk about with this topic, let's get it in. All right. Yeah.
Executives are cowards. That is my reaction. Executives are cowards. It is one thing to fire a man. If you work long enough, you will get fired regardless of your profession. But to fire a man that helped bring a show its very first Emmy Award in the midst of that show is cowardly. On NFL Live. NFL Live, a show that's for the last 2 years won back-to-back Emmy Awards for best daily sports show. Y'all know how many daily sports shows there are in the world, many of which you watch and even more that you don't watch. And they have objectively been voted on 2 years straight for having the best one.
Okay, let's stop right there. First of all, it's not objective if they vote. It's not objective. It's subjective. But I know what he's saying. He's saying, look, they got the accolade, they got the achievement, they got the hardware, but that's still not objective because it's a voting subjectively by people. That said, Ryan Clark kills it. Ryan Clark kills it in his analysis. Ryan Clark kills it in terms of how he used to speak on the game, speak into the game, go deeper than the top layer, all those things. I remember meeting Ryan Clark when he first started auditioning. He was still an active player. I don't know what years this is. It's like 2009, 2012. I don't know, that world. And he used to just come in on his breaks from playing ball, and he would come in during the bye week, stuff like that. I called him Stringer Bell. I was like, Stringer Bell, because he looked like Stringer Bell to me. I was like, oh, you clean? You look like that dude? All right, go ahead. And he was nailing it, articulate, all that stuff. That said, here's what happened to Ryan Clark I could tell you initially. Everywhere there's a middle class, except in really America, ain't no middle class no more, right? It's just rich or poor. But in reality, we all know there's a middle class. It's the same thing in media. There's a middle class in media. And typically the one that's in the middle class has a choice to make. Your choice is either A, go with the flow that you know will help you grow, which is, at a time, it was Skip Bayless, being a contrarian no matter what, or sticking to your guns no matter what. You know, you think the Cowboys are amazing, even if they're 0-16, 0-17, right? That kind of stuff. I hate Westbrook no matter what he does, even if he drops 60 and never misses a shot. Like, that was one script that they were passing out, let's say mid-2000s. And if you take that script, guess what happens? You know you're going to get a bump. You may not become Skip Bayless, obviously, but you're going to close the gap. Middle class is thinking that. He riding down the middle. He being Ryan Clark at first. Because I remember day one, Ryan Clark. I remember Ryan Clark going at Stephen A. Smith. Y'all can see some of the old clips. We ain't going to go through everything. It's not going to be that exhaustive. Ryan Clark going at Stephen A. Smith. And then all of a sudden, that middle class guy is either A, I'm going to take that script, or B, I'm going to take a different script. And we all know what happened in the 2010s. A lot of racially motivated things. Colin Kaepernick, George Floyd. It just seemed like ESPN turned a different page in terms of their politics and openness with it. And then it had to be liberal. It couldn't be conservative. You remember going back in the days where you just couldn't have both sides in the balance, all that stuff. Stephen A. Smith was even getting caught up in the wash. You remember that? Stephen A. Smith, Terrell Owens conversation, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman dynamic, all of that was just shifting. So Ryan Clark saw another script out there. And that's when I saw Ryan Clark start to shift. I said, okay, so he gonna ride that pander of, I'm gonna make things racially motivated. I'm gonna look at things through a racially colored lens, even if they don't deserve it, even if they don't need it, or my loyalties and alliances. So he became a big loyalty card. LSU, Black people, sisterhood, etc. All right. The thing about it is that's actually disappointing. It's not just that. It's because those condiments he kept adding to the meat and potatoes messed up the meat and potatoes. Because his meat and potatoes deserves to not only be rewarded, he wanted the top to do it. But most people couldn't sift through that. Once he started race baiting, he lost a whole big population. Be real. Those people started to love to hate him. I'm over here criticizing him because I'm highlighting what he's saying. And what he's saying, I don't care who you are. You kind of got to be like, yeah, that don't make sense, dog. That I'll give you a clip, and I'll give you the worst clip that he ever had. We're going to play that later. And this is what really drove the dagger. This is what really got Ryan Clark up out of there. And it's the Peter Schrager one. I ain't trying to make y'all string y'all along like that. But I'm going to give you the elements that really did it. I don't think a lot of people are pointing out what the biggest problem with that is. So we'll get into that. So that's who Ryan Clark was. Ryan Clark had a choice to make. Be Ryan Clark or, put a little more makeup on this guy and see what happens.
And you're going to fire an anchor of that show, not just an anchor of that show. Y'all just now about to have a Super Bowl. That's why you got Troy Aikman. That's why you came out here from Fox and you got our talent. And Ryan Clark is on that Monday night show. Fire that man. So to me, it is cowardly to fire a man in the midst of him working for a show that he has built up to Emmy level and Emmy quality.
Okay, let me tell you why they did it that way. If we're going to go with, hey, this was This is with bad intentions. We trying to embarrass you. We trying to let this be a splash. I know about that. Like, there's a way you do things. This is what therapists always tell you. The way something is done is really telling you how they felt about it. Because getting it done is easy. You can get it done by just, hey, let me send a text to Ryan. Hey, come in my office before your show, Ryan. Hey, I called your agent before it happened, Ryan. Like, so don't ever get twisted into, oh man, they fired him. That ain't the issue, because they fire people all the time. All the time. Acho's talking about it right now. However, the way they do it is the way that they want you to know how they felt dealing with your ass all that time. You get it? I'm going through that right now in my real life. Everybody gets divorced, at least more than half people. It ain't that, it's how you made me feel. Now, we got to talk through that as we're going to talk through this. So the way they did it was to embarrass him. The way they did it was reckless on purpose. Right? They know that if they go up there and then in the middle of the show, I just take him or tell him something or he leaves, that's going to be huge news. We're in this attention currency where it doesn't matter how it comes. People are accepting it, and most people are out there actually raising their hand trying to get it. I saw some girl just literally post a video yesterday. She said, yeah, I had a one-night stand with some basketball player or rapper, Gunna. Yeah, and she like, I'm like, just for the attention. So the way she did it, it ain't about messing with them, because everybody having sex. It's what you did, how you did it. So Ryan Clark, I hate to say it, the big dog, they were out to get you, not fire you.
I fully understand firing somebody. You got to fire somebody. You got to fire somebody. Bet we all gonna get fired. At least I have. I'll speak for me. I can't speak for nobody else. You get fired. But it's another thing to fire somebody in the midst of a show. To me, that's repulsive. It's cowardly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people get fired every day. But what I don't understand is, all these other opportunities to fire Ryan Clark. Why are you firing while he was on air? I don't understand that. At the old show, I heard that, Acho and his homies got fired on air. I wasn't there. I knew it was about to happen. Yeah, what's about to happen? Okay, I will not be. It's a true story. It's a true story. But that's true story. But my thing is just like, and I don't have anything to say bad about ESPN because I don't want to know all the particulars of what really happened. But I do know this, is that Ryan Clark is really, really good on TV, right? And I think a lot of viewership, they love to see Ryan Clark. He's one of the guys, he's an ex-player that speaks and gives you the insight of what a player goes through. So I just don't understand why they fired him while he was on air. That's kind of wild to me. I'm sure that we'll get the real story eventually soon because he'll speak his piece and let everyone know what really happened.
Yeah, no, firing someone.
Okay. I can tell you why they did it this way. The way that they're going to justify it emotionally, right? This is the way that they're going to validate it. Whether they're never probably going to say this. It makes no sense to say this. But knowing based off of the actions what the mentality had to be. Things are bigger than ball. Like, as much as I love football, as much as you love sports, as much as we all love all this, there are things that are bigger, correct? We all know that. And when you start to disturb those things, that harmony, that flow, those elements, you got to look out. You got to duck. Because what Ryan Clark was doing was amazing sports analyst. Analysis in sports, he was an amazing sports analyst. Great analysis. However, it's bigger than ball. So the times where you swerved off the reservation, they felt, and went there and start talking about issues, and then not only talking about bigger issues, it's okay to talk about bigger issues at your own peril. If you notice the people who last there the longest, they're the ones who don't really go there, right? Now, Stephen A. Smith is an exception, because Stephen A. Smith is smart. One, he carved out his own lane. Two, he also top dog. Three, he went independent. So he gets away with a lot of stuff that is not on ESPN Watch. Being real, litigation could occur if ESPN starts to look at Stephen A. Smith in the independent space and try to put that on his record while he's at Disney. Just letting y'all know how it goes behind the scenes. In part, why people are doing the hybrid. I want to do independent and do major media, because then you can play both ways. Anyway, there are exceptions to the rule, like a Stephen A. Smith, But if you are middle class, and Ryan Clark was still middle class, let's not forget Ryan Clark on his last deal, they weren't going to renew it. Do you remember that? Do you remember that Ryan Clark on his last deal went to his own independent platform and did videos about how he wanted to be valued and he wanted his worth? And I'm going to tell you how it was felt, how it was read, because the same thing happened with Shannon Sharp at Fox previously. They look at that, especially when you kind of give little droppings of discrimination, not my right, proper value. I wonder why. It's thinly veiled that they're discriminating / maybe even being racial. Simple. That's how executives look at it. It's how entities look at it. Corporations look at it. And you're forgetting, if you're Ryan Clark, if they fire me possibly or not giving me my proper value or giving me my right contract because of my race, you forget they hired you and you still were that same race. So it's illogical on its head, but it's also a nuisance to these executives. And some of those executives are black. Don't get it twisted. They ain't all white. There are black executives who sitting there too, like, that ain't the reason, bruh. It's just simply not the reason. So you get yourself in a pretzel when you start to do all those
while they're in the middle of a workday, a little crazy, especially while they're doing their job to the best of their ability. It does seem crazy.
Let me provide some nuance. Again, we're going ha kiki. That's the show. I'm gonna laugh at myself. Y'all can laugh at me in the chat. Throw tomatoes. Do all the things. Last year, true story, I find out that our show's getting canceled. Me, Shady, James Jones, Chase Daniel. I find out our show's getting canceled like 5 days before it gets canceled. But we found out in reality on social media. The executives never told us first. My representatives told me first. So I found out, hey, Acho, this is about to happen. Keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody. Funny enough, obviously, Shady, my dog. So with all due respect, I talked to my dog, but keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody. Executives did not tell us that we were getting fired. We found out on Twitter in a post-show meeting. True story. And Rome is my witness in the back. He was with me at the last show. Shout out my dog, Rome.
Shout out to producer Rome.
After every show, we do a post-show meeting. Post-show meeting to prepare for the next show. That's how it goes down. You do the show, you do a post-show meeting. We're in the post-show meeting, ha-ha and kiki. Hey, what y'all want to talk about tomorrow? All right, yeah, let's talk about Eagles, repeat Super Bowl champs, bet. As the executive is upstairs, we get tweets and texts. And oh my God, the facility getting canceled, getting canceled. Didn't even tell, bruh, true story. James had left because only I did the post-show meeting. Shady, James Jones, Chase didn't have to do post-show meeting. I did the post-show meeting.
Let me stop right there. Okay, I understand what Acho is saying. And look, these are fact-based statements. Obviously, others are there to corroborate it. At the same time, let me just speak up. As on this show, we balance things out. Let me speak up why executives don't do it themselves. One, you don't ever want to be in a position of authority and power and be the judge, jury, executioner. It sounds good to be the judge, jury, executioner, except it comes with its own set of issues that you sooner than later will remove yourself from. I give you an example. Roger Goodell, when he first came into office. When he first got there, Roger Goodell got drunk off his power and decided to be judge, jury, executioner. Everything that came across the NFL table, from growing the game, partnerships, brand, marketing, sponsorships, also discipline. Remember that? And I remember it live because I don't know where I was working. I think that's ESPN days. I'm like, yo, he is messing up his own brand because he's doing too much. Why are you disciplining cats? Won't you hire somebody who is the face of discipline? And all you got to do is before the press conference, you go up to him, which ended up being like Troy Vincent, right? He ended up doing that. And even if he had that role, he wasn't empowered. I said, empower somebody to take on the discipline. Why is the commissioner of the NFL sitting up there talking about Ray Rice? No. My job is to just grow this game. So all you got to do is say, hey, Troy, come here. We got a 2-game suspension. Oh, he's banned for a year. Whatever you got to say, you do it. So why now take that example to Fox executives, ESPN executives? Why are they not walking in the meeting room just saying, hey, man, it's been great. I love you, but you got to go. You ain't got to go home. You got to get out of here. Why would they do that? That's how you get drunk off your power. Your role is not that, and it will come back to haunt you. Now Roger Goodell, who has grown the game at least 4x since I've been playing. I told you guys thousands of times how I got comps. Joey Bosa and I had the same amount of sacks when we got our contracts. He got 123 million. I got 40. That's 3x, and it's gone more since then. So it's like 4x. Huh? And that guy is over there getting booed every time you see him. You know why he's getting booed? Because people ain't forgot about Ray Rice. They ain't forgot about Colin Kaepernick, etc. That's why executives don't step
James had left 2-5. He forgot something. His badge didn't work, Shady. I swear to God, Shady, I can't make this up.
That fast?
Swear that fast. His badge did not work when he was coming back to get something. He didn't know we had been fired yet. He hadn't got called by the executive. So James is trying to figure out, why my badge don't
like
work.
The Jamal Adams meme.
Just straight up and down. He's trying to figure out,
crazy.
why the hell don't my badge work? Because you got fired and deactivated and execs didn't tell nobody. Craziest piece is, everybody that would be like, hey, morning, Acho. Hey, you want your same coffee, Acho? Ach, what you need? As soon as you get fired, act like you dead, like you got the plague. Like,
Yeah.
man, like some wild stuff. To the point where I sent my team in to collect my clothes. Like I'm not finna, y'all not finna play me. And then there came a point where the executive was like, hey, man, we want to call you, talk about, I don't need you to call me. I already saw I got fired. So like, what if you want to call me before Twitter notifies me. Yeah. This ain't about me. This is about Ryan. Why did they?
Okay, let's just wrap up. It is about you because you made it about you, as you should. It's your show. I love it. I went through the same thing. I wasn't fired. I was given an offer that was just too low to take. More importantly, unwarranted for that value. So I didn't do a Ryan Clark video. I didn't go back and start crying about it, and I didn't throw a fit. I just went back and forth in negotiations, said, if this is where we are, this is where we are. And it's not just money. It wasn't just the money. The money was like a quarter of what I was making. More importantly, it was starting to add some travel. And I was like, I'm not going to leave LA. I don't want to leave LA, et cetera. So it's a whole different conversation. A lot of difference in that. But the similarities are, we can't be emotional about these executive decisions. You can to yourself, but you can't in terms of business industry and how you look at them. They're making a decision, and they're making that decision even though it may be something they feel or disagree with by committee. They say we got to do it. And if we got to do it, my heart ain't in it, but it's still going to happen. So you need to respond like, okay, this is an inanimate decision. This ain't a decision that got a heartbeat. This decision is just being made. You don't believe me? Pat McAfee is up for a deal, as they say, up to $60 million. Obviously, that's a lot of money. He got to pay his whole staff, his whole crew, etc. Point being, $60 million. So stop thinking that they got to talk to you and walk with you and look out for you, because what they know is, one, we got the money. Like if you're Ryan Clark right now, I hope you're not telling yourself a lie that, oh man, I got fired because I made too much, or I got fired. You got fired because people get fired. The only people I see survive these things are the top dogs, Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd, when they were at Fox peak powers. We know what undermines Skip, the lawsuit and the Shannon Sharp situation. And he still lasted a year after all that. Right? After the Shannon Sharp stuff. You got to be like Scott Van Pelt. Just stay away from the BS. Do your job to the top level. You're going to be there forever. Colin Cowherd, stay above the BS. Just do your job to the top level. You'll be there forever. Right? That's how the game goes. If you're not a top dog, then you're going to be a middle pack trying to be something that you ain't. And that means you're going to be dispensable. You're going to be disposable, because we don't need that. There's 1,000 people that could come in here and all of a sudden just take on the role. We need something that's deeply authentic, that moves the needle. So that's it. You can't be sitting there talking about how, man, they should have spoke to me. They should have came through. I didn't even go back. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter how you take it. It's the fact that they had to
tell Ryan in the midst of the show, because I don't think they wanted him to find out during the show on NFL Live on Twitter.
We're calling the night before and
Bingo.
don't have him coming into work.
Correct.
Yeah.
My thing is like Ryan got a whole family, he got his home brand.
Yep.
And I think he's gonna be fine because he's a hell of a talent.
Mm-hmm.
But this could take a hit in his brand where it's like, damn, you making me look a certain way. You know what I mean? I might be the butt of the joke because you fired me while I'm at work. You could have fired me last night and saved me the trip.
Okay, let's get up out of here because I think we're going to just have more personal stories. Respect. That was a great clip. And it's longer, but that's good. Look, they did it that way because they wanted Ryan to understand, oh, yeah, we've been dealing with this. Right? What I say about every relationship, you spend half of the time breaking up. So when you look at the Ryan Clark situation, there have been breadcrumbs. There have been issues that kept adding up. Then they start multiplying to the point where now they had to fire Ryan Clark. And they do it in a way where they don't care. They don't care about all the fallout because all of the fallout is just going to make you have to say what? How many times have we said ESPN fires? ESPN did Ryan Clark dirty. ESPN is wrong. You're saying ESPN. You are putting that into the algorithm. This video is going to do numbers. Why? Because it's new, breaking news, and we talking about ESPN. I'm just giving you the inner workings because I've been there before. Obviously, I've been cut by a football team before. I've never been fired by a network. As crazy as it sounds, and as maybe people don't understand that, I've never been fired by a network. NFL Network, they didn't renew me because I wasn't a Hall of Famer. ESPN, I was looking at their deal, but Fox's deal was bigger. Fox gave me a small deal, and I just decided to go independent. Simple as that. But I do know how this goes. I do know how they do it. And they're going to do it in a way that they wanted to make the noise and make sure it says what they want it to say. So there's more videos. Let's get into it. Let's do a little bit more on this because, man, get fired live on air. Let's show you this one. Some more of the issues, and then I'm going to get into the main one. The main one that Peter Schrager, I'm going to tell you, that was a death blow. That was a death wish right there.
Sad and tragic when I thought he died under the weight of handling the guilt that he unknowingly played a part in someone losing their lives. It's even more tragic that I know he died as an innocent man who knew he was innocent, but was dealing with the consequences of someone guilty of what he had been accused of. And let's be clear, Kyron Lacy is innocent, but on December 17th, 2 people lost their lives. Obviously, Herman Hall, and condolences and prayers to his family because this man fought in 2 Vietnam wars, and the very thing he fought for, right, which was the rights and the privileges and the due diligence of the courts as it pertains to American citizens, didn't even happen in his death. They didn't even honor him that way. It was true lies. It was true railroading. It was true framing. It was Tyler Werner, the state police, who was coaching witnesses into telling them or into saying that it was Kyron's car involved in the crash. All he saw was a young black man, right? He didn't see his career, and eventually they took his life.
When you look at a guy like Joe Burrow, right, and where he is ranked.
Okay, we're going to save that one right now. So these are the last 2 incidents that happened with Ryan Clark. That's one of them. And the Peter Schrager is another one. Because when those occurred, let's do the Peter Schrager right now. I got to break down the elements that made the executives cringe. Okay? When you see this, then you start to understand with Ryan Clark, you really stepped in it right there doing that. It's tough because, I mean, look, nobody should kick nobody when they down, but more importantly, he's good. But this is the problem, and problem is not my best word for this, but this is the dynamic of when you have a boss, when you have bosses, when it is subjective. Acho said it was objective that they were the best because they won an Emmy. No, it's subjective because some dude can wake up one morning, have a bad day, and decide that you don't have a livelihood anymore. This is why the ego of like athletes is so different than everybody else. I got to break this down. We got to talk right now. The athlete ego is different than the entertainer ego. And I've always talked about this. It's a perfect time to bring it up again. The reason why athletes have a different swagger or different ego, a different like walk to them than even entertainers is because athletes know everything that I attained, not talking about all them single sports, but all things I attained came from my hard work, it came from my skill, and it came me competing against another man and taking his will. It's a great game of skill. It's a greater game of will. I went out there and I went mano a mano. We went team versus team. We got you. When you leave that field, that court, that moment, they can't say nothing. They can't say anything to you. Now, let's contrast that to an entertainer who, and I've been there before, auditioning for ESPN, auditioning for Fox or whatever it may be. You walk in that room, you're not competing against somebody else, not in that room. You're competing against the thoughts they have of other people. But guess what you're really doing? You on display, right? Center stage is yours. Show me. And there's no objectivity to it. They can say, oh, he's really articulate. Or they can say, oh, what great personality, all that stuff. But that is a range. If you looked at all of their notes and compared them, there'd be very few through lines, very few things in common. Most things would be, I think this. Oh, I thought this. Oh, I thought he was too reserved. No, I thought he was fun, you know. But all of those people have you under their thumb. Remember that. We're going to talk about it right now. They have you under their thumb. That's your audience. You may think your audience is all your Twitter, all of your comments, all the people that rock with you and view your show and the pivot. That ain't your audience. Your audience are those executives. And I'm about to show you, when you did this, you lost your audience, big dog. Real spit. Real spit. Where is it? Oh, there we go. This is it. This did it. This did it right here. And I'm going to tell you exactly what did it.
Are you feeling, okay, you look at A.J. Brown, which is this number one wide receiver who got one target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb. But that's the,
when was the one target?
That's the target,
But
though.
I'm saying, when was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out route.
You wake up this morning saying A.J.
outside
Brown has had a better day than CeeDee Lamb?
But you know what you wake up saying, though?
Okay.
A.J. Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course.
Right, like that's what
I get it.
But the thing is this.
Okay, this is the first frame. There's joy, there's fun, there's interaction, there's inclusivity. Everyone's involved in their own personality. Greenberg is loving it because he's like, man, I got both sides rocking. Teddy is always kind of like that, even though Teddy's funny and it could be lighthearted. Teddy's like, all right, let's make sure we keep this mapped into reality. I got too many rings to be playing these BS games. Orlowski is adjusting on his chair, which lets you know he all in. Like, what? What? Like, this is game day. This is as much game day as you can get wearing suits and makeup. Then there's Peter Schrager, who looks like he just walked into Walt Disney World. Like, oh my God. Like, he's at Epcot Center. He is pumped. He like, this is it. And this is what they love. They love this type of joy. Contention, but with joy. Contention, but fun contention. They love that. That's the best thing. Not that deep, dark, we going at it and boy, ooh, I wonder what they did at commercial break. Did they fight? That ain't what they want. You ain't selling no Snickers like that. Them commercials ain't selling the same. You know what I mean? They trying to sell McDonald's. They trying to sell Starburst. Nobody want to be all mad. And then there's Ryan Clark. What I always tell y'all about the elbow. The elbows tell you so much in life. That elbow's locked. That means I have real resistance to this. Okay? Whatever. I'm just giving it to you in micro dissection now. We going micro. Okay? It's already happened. And he already just got fired. So now we're going to say, what happened?
And we shouldn't do this on TV.
This is the moment where Ryan Clark realized, look at him, listen to him. He realizes I'm about to cross the line. Now, we all know who hasn't crossed the speed limit, who hasn't went past the speed limit before. No ticket, no ticket, no ticket. You keep doing it. Who had been in the carpool lane and they by themselves in the car? Go ahead. But when you do get caught, oh, you're going to have to pay. You're going to pay for it.
So I apologize if people think this is rude.
Whenever you got to apologize before you say it, probably, let's just say the percentages are you shouldn't say it, especially when you're working at ESPN, Disney, whatever.
That's the non-player.
Oh,
view.
stop. CeeDee Lamb is
let me tell you why.
That's the non-player in you. I told you he lost his audience. When did he lose his audience? Right then. Because guess who his audience is? Executives. And guess what they are also? You ready? Drum roll. Non-players. You just dismissed, and this is real. We know, why do people get involved in sports media when they didn't play? It's because they loved it and they just want to be close to it, but they couldn't do it. So they live vicariously through it, right? They looking at you like, man, I mean, when you meet these executives, they are so pumped to meet you. God, man, I used to watch you when I was little. Or, wow, man, some of the plays you made, I can't wait for you to come here and work with us. But you know, both ends of that rope better be held up with respect, because you know they respect you. They bringing in guys that can't even talk, but they could ball, they could play. His mumbling ass up in there in their office, and they sitting there like, boy, he could play though. So let's see if he can do this. He can't even talk. What's the subject? Huh? What's the predicate? Huh? Oh God. All right. Show starts in 10 minutes. Go get some makeup. They do that. But they know they respect you. You don't even have that many encounters with them. Well, please respect me. And more importantly, if you really want to hear a gangster, you better respect me because I got the power. Remember where you really are, under my thumb. I'm one bad morning away from trying to spread some information about you that I don't like to get the other executives on my side. You want to move many? Whisper to one. And I'm certain in that moment, one of them start whispering, if not yelling. Yo, what the hell is this?
I'm not looking at fantasy football. Ryan, I'm not, don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And Peter,
Greenberg just gave you the signal. Let me give it to you. Greenberg just gave you the signal. Watch Greenberg through this whole thing right here. Watch Greenberg. He like, this ain't it.
Play well.
This ain't it.
What I need for you to do, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't about.
Greenberg is in disbelief. Between his ears right now, he's like, yo, why are you acting so damn gangster about this? And this is why Kwame Brown is right about the go along, get along, and there are many connotations to that. So right now, if this were a real discussion, not a production, Teddy or Dan, even Mike would have said, yo, chill. What the hell you doing? Like, relax. But it's not. These guys are thinking, all right, we got to be together in the next block, the B block, the C block. I got to see them tomorrow. So you're going to let them work it out, even though you know what they are doing ain't working. In reality, everybody is sitting there saying, Ryan, why are you hot 100? 2, let's just say it, Ryan, since you love to go here, one of these guys don't look like the rest. So you playing yourself from your own words, your own lens of how you look at sports, how you look at life. You playing yourself. This is like, the whole angry black woman or, angry black man. You are being more, I don't know if angry is the word here, but you sure are closer to it than everybody else is. You will claim that they looking at you like that, but you are actually doing exactly what you say that they're going to say you look like. That's the pretzel. That's the pretzel.
About you. It was going to be about me.
Okay.
As a player, I can't speak for CeeDee Lamb. I'm speaking for.
Woo. Blah, blah, blah. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, this is a topic. This is a big boy right here. It's unfortunate too, because that happened, and then they said this one happened last week. Let's take a little look into what happened last week, which could have led to, like, sometimes you're on the fence. Obviously, he's been on the fence. His last deal, he literally had to come out in response. They're not giving me a deal. I need to be valued. I need to be respected. And then they gave him a deal. But you know that deal, if they're reluctant to give you that deal, your next one going to be tough gettings. I knew he was on thin ice. I've said it in shows before. I was like, I'm not going to try and highlight it. I'm not going to try and accelerate it. But I'm like, yeah, Ryan Clark on thin ice. Simple as that. And then they said this happened last week. And then, okay, now we got something going. And this be life. Life be lifing. Let's see what this is.
When you look at a guy like Joe Burrow, right, and where he is ranked, they don't take into account how much he's been injured or how little he's played, how awful his team has been as a whole. They look at Joe Burrow when he is on the field, what he has accomplished, and they rank him by that. They rank him by the feeling they get when Joe Burrow is healthy, when Jamar Chase is there, when T. Higgins is there. The same exact thing should go for Lamar Jackson. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, there is no more accomplished quarterback in the entire NFL individually. There's no quarterback who carries more than Lamar Jackson. There's no quarterback who's asked to do more than Lamar Jackson. There's no quarterback who you have to have a game plan for in the run game. You have to have a game plan for in the pass game. And then you have to have a secondary game plan for when he does Lamar Jackson type stuff.
Okay. Well, that's not accurate, but I get what he's saying. Lamar is in that rare air of guys that just can dictate terms. But Josh Allen is as well. Let's just be real. Like, let's not do that. And look, there is Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You can start throwing other guys in there for different reasons. Joe Burrow, obviously, when healthy, is a beast. Justin Herbert doesn't get the same respect, or people don't like him the same. But if you took him off that team with their injuries to the line and to the running backs, like, there's deep evaluation of Justin Herbert actually doing more than maybe all these quarterbacks, doing more, not getting better results all the time, but just having to do more. So there's a lot of that. Look, Jalen Hurts is somewhere sitting there like, yeah, boring. Another quarterback who's not getting fully respected. Welcome to my life, So right now, I don't see how this is so egregious, but I do know that thin line of Ryan Clark race baiting, it may enter the picture. We still got 30 more seconds. Let's hope.
And so when you take his career as a whole, if I'm a player, the way I'm voting is this. If this dude is healthy, how much do I fear him? If this dude is healthy, how difficult is it to game plan for him throughout the week? And we talked about some of the disrespect he has gotten. That's disrespect I expected. I expected executives to not know where to place him.
I heard executives and got triggered again. Okay, keep going.
I expected marketers and brands to not understand the power of his voice. What I
didn't expect is the players to do it. Okay, I get it. Man, that's sad. Let me tell you what really happened in this dynamic, then we can be done with this topic. Beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll answer some questions into the show. He cast his own net that ended up trapping him. That clip right there is going viral as this is what did it also. Peter Schrager did it for real, but he lasted almost a year after that. Now, be smart. What's coming up in a couple weeks? Football. Who's going to be doing a ton of football? ESPN, NFL Live. Peter Schrager, who's only been there for a year or so. Ryan Clark. Do you think they want to mix? Do you think they want to be together? I mean, I'm not going to put words in Peter Schrager's mouth, but I'm certain his representation is sitting there saying, we doing this again, huh? Like, because you can't unalive that. It's got its own life now. Every time you type in Peter Schrager, I'm certain one of the top 5, if not top 10 mentions is that video. And Peter Schrager, like, yo, I worked this hard. I didn't play ball. I'm this good. And I came here, and this is what you subject me to. And that was year 1. That was the honeymoon. He like, hell no. Like, I'm sure his representation and people are like, hey, bro, we doing this again? Right? And you don't even know how this split people, or you don't know how people respond or react in this apathetic world where people love and hate you, or they just remove themselves from it. But why is everyone so distant? That ain't the team concept that ESPN wants. That's not the show concept. You don't know. They could go out to dinner. Executives, man, they get their ammo from everywhere. Executive could be in Vegas. The team is doing a remote in Vegas, right? There's Peter Schrager there, and Mia Kimes there, and Dano, and Ryan Clark, they all there. And then the executive goes to Tao to have some dinner. And then he's like, oh, look at that. Mina Kimes up in here. All right, Mina, I see you. Oh, look at Dano sit down too. Oh, there go Ryan. All right. Now, they don't see him yet. He's just sitting in the cut, sipping on that old fashioned, looking. Then he's like, oh, that's it. All of them flew out there, but only all of them are there except one. Where's Peter? Oh, Peter, pop up. Where's Peter? All right, tuck it away. Go to the meeting tomorrow. You got to do all the production, pre-production, all that. Y'all walking around, you look at it. Damn, Peter and Brian ain't said one word to each other, really. Other than that fake pleasantry. Oh, what's up, dog? How you doing? It is what it is. Ryan Clark has a brand. Ryan Clark has a name. Ryan Clark has a show that does very well. The Pivot, Fred Taylor, Shannon Crowder. Ryan Clark, what worked on ESPN won't work where Ryan Clark is, because you got to think, Ryan Clark can talk about anything now. The freedom is his. The latitude is his. I think he's going to thrive in that, but he got some acceleration. He got some nitrous. He got a boost when he was doing that. This freedom, I can talk like I want to talk, say what I want to say at Disney. You get it? You look faster when nobody moving. Nobody's doing what Ryan was doing, really. Well, Stephen A was. Let me stop. But nobody was doing it like Ryan was doing it. And it looks that much greater and grander because nobody else is doing it. But now you're going to get on this internet fully, or wherever job he gets next. And he's certainly in position to do that. But I'm saying it's going to be a different reception to Ryan Clark doing that at Disney than what he's doing at the Pivot and continuing. So, hey, man, I don't care how much we go back and forth. I don't wish ill on nobody. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Ryan Clark. I wish him the best. Quincy Avery's very, very close to now. That's the dude because at least Ryan, I respect how he talks. I respect his game. I don't know Quincy like that. I don't know how good he works with them quarterbacks, but I'm just joking. Real spit. All right, let's keep going. Beat up in the comments. Let me know what you think.